And,
Yeah.
oh, and here we go. And hello. Let's see. I'm talking about it's none of your business. Hi, I'm James Lott Jr. and welcome to the Darth Vader is Your Father podcast here on JLJ Media. This is our first time going live. So my guest, you know, it's the friend. I've never done it live before, and I thought I'll go live. Like, why the f not? Open up the chat room. Make sure it's open for you guys. We're here on YouTube. My channel is JLJ Media, so it's right here. Subscribe if you're here. How do you say hello? Hello. I don't know how to say hello. And my guest, he's a podcaster too. He has another job also, but I know him from a podcast that I listened to during the time of Big Brother 23. I came across him and two of his cohorts had me laughing and chiming in my own opinions. And the Big Brother, Jerry Duty, Big Brother and Survivor podcast. I want to welcome John Dunphy. Hi, John.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. This is really exciting.
You got the memo, so we got our hats on. We're ready.
That's right. That's right.
You always put a hat on your show.
I know. I'm always just afraid that my hair is going to look weird. So
that's why it's a little long. I've not been to a hair place since COVID or whatever things going on this last week. So it's just growing wild. Hello, Philip 5555. So folks, come on in. We're talking Star Wars stuff. So if you're not a Star Wars fan, get out. But if you are a Star Wars fan, stay here and join us in the conversation and give you some of your answers I'm going to ask him and talk to him about. We have a nice little conversation about that today. One of the reasons why I do these because I love Star Wars. I've seen every movie in the theater. I'm that old. I've seen every movie in theater since it came out in 1978. And I watched the shows. Thomas is in here. Of course, she'd be in here. Do you even like Star Wars? Why are you in here? You stay. But no, we completely. I've been a Star Wars fan since I was 7 years old. So I've been a big fan of this franchise. I've read the books. We're going to get into the weeds of all that and talk about what he likes and why he's a part of it also. So I can do my little housekeeping. This show is on every streaming service platform from iHeartRadio to Spotify to Google, Apple. It's everywhere. Just type in Darth Vader is your father. And you can go ahead and like it and follow it. And you'll see what's going on. All kinds of episodes. Listen to them. So please join us on that. Also, I have two other Star Wars related podcasts. The newest, our huge hit that I want to say thank you so much to you guys who are listening to it, my Boba Fett after show, which I'm shocked how well it's doing so soon in 2 episodes. So thank you so much for listening to me and my co-host, Frank Moran. And John probably will be joining that one too. Anyway, too. So keep in mind for that. That's out on Wednesdays. We do it right after the show comes out on Disney Plus. So check that out. That's on every streaming service. It's also on here on YouTube. And I have the Mandalorian season 2 after show, which is a big hit for us here too. So if you're just catching the Mandalorian now go back and watch our after show. Me and Ryan Nielsen every week talked about it. We were with glee and excitement. That's out now on every streaming service also too. I wanted to do the Bad Batch, but I ran out of time. Believe it or not, James can't do everything. But I did do a review of the Bad Batch on this show. Go to an earlier episode on that. That's all the church announcements, the housekeeping. Now I can talk to John. John!
Yes. Hello.
So folks are in the chat room. Dolores says her whole family is a Star Wars family. Her 12-year-old grandson is new to each movie. Thomas said he went and saw the re-release in theaters in 1997. And she says her grandson at age 5 knows the stories better than the adults.
Wow.
I think it's scary or great. So John, I just mentioned what was your earliest memory of Star Wars, of anything Star Wars, and what was it?
So I mean, the first time I really watched Star Wars, I was probably, I couldn't even pinpoint the exact age, but I was born in 1989. So really just over 10 years before, the first film came out. So while I was born before the original trilogy came out, it was still less than 10 years old by the time I was born, So growing up, in the mid 90s, let's say, when I was 6-7 years old, I would be watching the original trilogy all the time with my older brother. We were huge Star Wars fans, and it was a movie, a trilogy that was made before I was born, let's say, and maybe the technology that we have now compared to in the 70s is so different. But I was just so drawn in by these movies, even though they were older than I am. It was incredible. And then so you have me being born just over 10 years before the original trilogy. And then I was right around 10 years old when we get the prequels. So now I'm 10 years old and I already love Star Wars, but now I'm getting brand new Star Wars that's got technology that's 20 years newer. And now it's not just Luke and Obi-Wan are the only, Jedi. Now he's got Jedi everywhere. it's incredible. And just the visuals, just everything. I know that, the prequels get a bad rap a lot of times, but I love everything Star Wars. I look at everything Star Wars from a celebratory view. Yeah. Yeah. I know that there are people that like the original trilogy and they don't like anything else Star Wars. Everything else sucks. Yeah. I celebrate every bit of Star Wars. I feel lucky just to get any Star Wars. So
yeah, I get it. It's funny because you and I are exactly 20 years apart in age.
Okay.
I was born in 69. It was like, you're born in 89. I'm like, all right. Okay. I was 20 years old when you were born. It's funny. So I was there for originals, which I do. They are my favorites. Really, I just have to read my favorites. I like the prequels slightly more than I like this last trilogy.
Okay.
I will say that in the prequels, I have learned to like certain things more now. That's good. Over time, starting to see things. Oh, okay, it's not so bad. Okay, that's okay.
Right.
Now, I'm a fan of the books. I read a lot of the books. Did you read any of the books?
So that's one thing, I've seen all the movies, all the live action series. Well, now there's only the second one, sorry, with Boba Fett, but all the animated series I've seen, but I haven't really touched on the books, honestly, which I would really like to. So,
well, they kind of decanonized many of them now because when Disney Plus,
right,
Lucas and all that, but. There's some great stuff. There's some really great stuff. Really good stuff.
Yeah, I am like somewhat familiar with some of the content from the books because just from some other podcasts that I listen to and stuff, I've heard like, dramatic readings of certain books and things like that, where it's just, interesting topics and things like that. But I haven't actually been able to actually go in and read them myself.
But they have the new ones. The High Republic book series is out now. The new one coming out this month. Thomas Figueroa, I talked about the Ewoks the other day. I didn't pick it up, but I was saying that Lucas always had to throw stuff for the kids. The Ewoks are for the kids. I said on the other show I wanted an Ewok or something somewhere. So I did Ewoks. That's no story. I said no Jar Jar Binks. That's what I said there. That's no story. But no, it's the books are something. I just want to make sure we did. And so then we got the TV shows. I'm kind of doing an overview first, kind of get you to kind of get where what's going on for you. Okay, so now all these new series. So did you watch Clone Wars? Did you watch?
Oh yeah.
Basically, okay. So you're familiar with the animated stuff?
Yes.
Okay, so talk about that a little bit. Just overview of all that.
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean, so I guess probably my favorite of the animated series would probably be Clone Wars. I mean, it's just there's so many seasons, there's so many episodes. it's so great. Another really good animated one is Rebels, which is it's fantastic. Yeah. And then of course Bad Batch. I mean, it's hard to like put any of these in an order because what's so great about them is that they're animated, shows that I guess are technically geared towards kids, but like they have moments in some of these shows that really fill in some really key important details about the Star Wars universe. Like we see characters, we see connections between movies and live action series and all this stuff. It's incredible. I love how they do these animated series because it really allows them to continue world building and filling plot holes. They found so many ways to fill like little gaps in the story. And it's all just great. And what's funny? Like I found myself certain times watching these animated series where maybe it's just a shot of a ship, flying through the sky or whatever, and it looks so good that you almost feel like you're watching a movie. And the music, the music is just incredible too. I love these animated series for how they've been able to fill these gaps in with some of the movies, some of the questions we've had from the movies and all that. They really do a great job with that. And then I don't know if you've seen Star Wars: The Visions yet.
No, I haven't yet. Well, okay. So I want to respond for
yes.
So what I loved about the Bad Batch was that it had some elements of Clone Wars. Mm-hmm. The first episode, the opening was like an homage to Rebels. There were several things that they incorporated to go on top of what you're saying of both of those series that were brought into here. Yeah. We see Ahsoka in Mandalorian, of course, where she came from. So it's funny like they sprinkle things around, and the animated series are just as important. I think they're just as important as the actual live action. It's like, if you're a Star Wars super fan, I say you gotta watch everything.
Yeah. Oh, I totally agree.
There's two. I haven't seen Visions. And I saw this game. I'm not into the games, but this one called Eclipse coming out or whatever. And I was like, that trailer. I was like, is that a real movie? Like, man, I'm like, I almost want to buy it just so I can watch. I mean, you can't just watch it because you have to play it. But like, I was like, it's just the technology. Well, the technology just said technology is much better. But like, there's a storyline. There's storylines.
No, it's incredible. It's really incredible.
Yes. So you watched those. So we just did an overview. So you watched those, and of course you watched Mandalorian. What was your overall thought for Mandalorian?
I fell in love with the Mandalorian, and it's incredible to me, like how you can feel like, because we'll see familiar places, certain planets that they visit and things like that, but everything still feels so new and fresh. Like I love how with a show like The Mandalorian, you get new stories, but there's still this familiar feeling, and that's what The Mandalorian gives me, where it's like, this is new Star Wars. This is new. The universe is growing here. This whole thing. But it still has that familiar, comfortable feeling where, you feel like I'm still watching something that is, bridged to that 1977, A New Hope, I absolutely loved everything about The Mandalorian, and I can't wait for season 3.
It's funny because I didn't know what the story. I was actually late to watching it. I was busy working, and I was late to watching it. So a lot of my friends watched it first. I watched it by the time they were airing, I think episode 6 or 7. So when I say late, I mean I didn't watch it the first day. I mean, like now it's everything for the first day, but like life happened and I was just way busy. But I knew I was going to watch it at some point. I'm kind of glad I just binged the first 6 things. I was like, I could binge it, I didn't have to wait. But I don't expect. And then when I realized it's a story about this man and this thing, now he has to protect this thing that looks like Yoda. I was completely shocked. I was like, and I got enthralled. I was like, are they going to make it? Like, you really start going on the journey with them. Are they going to make it? In season 2, it expands even bigger than that. Yeah. We have Moff Gideon. Like the dark saber. Like, oh! I mean, I was just like geeking all over the place.
Right.
Now it's myself. It's so interesting. I didn't know what to expect. I just didn't. I didn't know what to expect, and it was and again, like Tatooine, where it's like jokes all the time. I guess it is a planet. Mm-hmm. I guess there's places we haven't seen on Tatooine. I mean, there's like there's places, there's other planets too, right? Everybody, we didn't see them, and so like you said, I call it Star Warsian. It's not even a word, I'm making it up. But it give us all these shows give us a Star Warsian world. Mm-hmm. So I agree with you. It's like you feel like you're in it.
Right.
You have a feel.
Definitely. And it's what I love too is how they can really use. So Ahsoka, I really only got into the animated series, to be honest, once like COVID kind of hit. It's like that kind of thing where you're like looking for things to watch, right? So I dove into those. Now I've watched the Clone Wars multiple times.
No matter how you got there. I mean,
right.
I think the COVID
right
television we hadn't seen, in a while.
Yeah. And so, but I did watch The Mandalorian before the animated series. So I was introduced to Ahsoka through a Mandalorian. And then, so it was cool to watch her, knowing what she becomes in The Mandalorian and then seeing how she kind of got there through the animated series. And what's cool to me is that we get in these series, a series like Mandalorian, just the one line uttered by Ahsoka, where is Grand Admiral Thrawn? Yeah. And it's like, this set up such a huge thing. I mean, Grand Admiral Thrawn is somebody that a lot of Star Wars fans probably don't even really know, and had never heard of him until those words were uttered by Ahsoka in The Mandalorian. And he's this huge, prolific villain in the Star Wars, galaxy. So
I read the Thrawn. I know.
Yeah, and it's it's awesome to see them using shows like The Mandalorian to now set up. Who knows what they could do with this going forward in the Ahsoka series and in any movies coming up, anything like that. Like they really, they do such a great job, and I really think it's a testament to like Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, who are, I trust them completely to continue to move this forward in the direction that it's going. So
funny you say that. I say that now because of this is the second Boba Fett. It's the second live action. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, animated's one thing. You can dress it up and do all these things. But I thought live action, and so far it's delivering. And I said it to my co-host. I said, now I really trust them because we have Andor coming, we have Obi-Wan Kenobi coming, we have Ahsoka coming. There's more coming. There's more coming.
That's amazing.
So now I'm kind of excited, and this runs along the same timeline as Mandalorian. So is Ahsoka. So I'm just curious. Like now, I'm like, what stories are they come up with? Like, I mean, it's gonna be really great, and so I have your feeling of I trust them now. Getting Robert Rodriguez to direct Boba Fett was really a smart move. Like, it's just like, because live action is one thing, folks, and the whole anime stuff's another thing, but they both work. And again, I will say it again: if you're a true Star Wars fan with the whole story, you got to watch all of them. You just got to. It's almost like Marvel and DC. You have to watch. You have to watch all of them. Hi, Ryan. Hi, Kirsten. Hi, everybody in chat room. Thanks for joining us. Give us your 2 cents. Also, we just right now we just did an overview of kind of what we've been watching and liking. Okay, so books and comics you haven't really read yet. Haven't read anything, so let's go. We'll go with all the movies and stuff. So the movies and the shows. So for you, luckily for you, you're introduced to the first trilogy first. And you watched second when it came out and third when it came out. So you're of that age group. That's good. So I have to ask you, just because we have to ask every single person who's a Star Wars fan, of the first trilogy, which one is your favorite movie?
The first trilogy, like the prequels. So this is tough for me because, I do agree. I think the sentiment out there is that, Revenge of the Sith with the prequels is the best of the 3 movies. But as tough as tough as the Phantom Menace is to get through sometimes, I love Qui-Gon Jinn. I love him so much. Okay. And I love Liam Neeson playing Qui-Gon Jinn. And I just wish that he could have been in more movies. And so while I think that Revenge of the Sith overall is a better movie and probably the best movie of the prequel trilogy, I have a soft spot in my heart for Qui-Gon Jinn and seeing him on the screen. So
okay, well, for me, it's Revenge of the Sith, obviously, but I have a newer appreciation for Attack of the Clones, even though the CGI is horrible. But and there's certain characters that should be in there. But other than that, and what's funny about the prequels. Later, as I look back on it later, not in the moment, I look back on it later. I know what they were trying to do. I see what they were trying to go for. Some of the execution just didn't work fully, and you said there's some clunky parts. You're just like, oh, really? Because I think for me, I'm a Darth Vader fan. I'm like, okay, see Anakin become Darth. I know the story, so I'm like, I want to see it, him turning into Darth. I mean, at some point, that's gonna be like the exciting part. And that was a little exciting. There was some excitement in that. But it's like the other surrounding stories are like, but like I said earlier, I do appreciate them a little more now than I did before. Yeah. Because they were ambitious. They were really trying to bring something to almost to match the second group. Right. And they fell short a little bit. I think everybody can agree they fell short a little bit, but they were admirable in their choices they're trying to make. Yeah. I have to ask you now of the original trilogy, which is now the second. It's all confusing, folks. Now it's the second trilogy. Which one's your favorite out of that one?
I think it's got to be Empire Strikes Back. That's my favorite one of the original. It's the Empire Strikes Back. That's just, what a good movie.
That's great. Mine is a close tie between. I always say Return of the Jedi is my favorite, and then Empire Strikes Back. Then some years like it's Empire Strikes Back, then Return of the Jedi. I love all 3, of course, but I just think that those last 2 were just. I mean, we were getting there. We were getting there, and you really think about it, it was like, I mean, it ended. I mean, really, we didn't think. I didn't think there was no Star Wars coming out after Empire Strikes. I just thought, well, that's it. I mean, they did a trilogy, and what was going to happen? And it took 40 years when we got another one from that group. You know what I mean? Like, it was just really weird. It's like we just didn't think about it. But yeah, now so we're going to do this next trilogy. We're hoping they're going to do the next that, and it was like, oh, we're doing prequels. And so I think a lot of folks my generation were pissed. We thought it'd be because naturally you think it'd be a continuation of those characters. We went backwards,
right?
So, which makes sense. So too. I totally get it. I mean, I don't think. Do you think if they did it the opposite and did prequels for these last 3, would it work?
See, that could be interesting. It could be interesting to see the original story we got that then gets continued, and then now let's go back. Let's see how it all started. Like that could have been interesting. And I think those movies would have turned out a lot different.
I think so too.
Yeah.
So too. I think so too. So, and the actors nowadays is much different actors.
Mhm.
All the stuff they're doing. I mean, because I'll tell you, the TV shows are really showing us the live action. They're spending a lot of money. They're putting some money in these things. They look so. I was reading about the one Mandalorian first season. It was basically like a relief map. They had a real kind of studio that had like mountains, like fake mountain. They were really in it. They added
Wow.
to it, but they were literally running up and down mountains and things, kind of so in a studio. So it's like, but then they CGI'd the rest in to make it seem like a desert or whatever. So like, so this new technology is just like amazing. I mean, I don't even know. There's a science to it, I guess. There's a science to it. Okay, so and now I have to ask you the third trilogy, if you have one.
I think, I think for the sequel trilogy, my favorite would probably be The Last Jedi. That's what I think I would have to go with.
Really?
I just, I think I thought it was well done. I really liked. I know that people were upset with how Luke Skywalker was portrayed, but I thought it was a compelling story. I know you always hear fans say too, oh, that's just fan service. It's just fan service. I feel like it would have been fan service to give us the Luke that we just all, you know what I mean? Like, and don't get me wrong, as a fan, I love to just get exactly what I want. But at the same time, like, we don't always get what we want. And instead we got this compelling story about this guy who was the hope. He was the new hope. And he saved the galaxy, and he was this badass Jedi, started a new, a new temple, and things went bad. And now he's isolating himself. And I thought that was, an interesting way to look at the character. Like, yeah, I would have loved if we got Luke Skywalker, running through there with his lightsaber, just cutting people down, like we saw in that, the last episode of the second season of The Mandalorian. But I kind of liked seeing him, he was the new hope. Now he's down. Let's see what he's going to do to save this, save his people. And I felt like, it's nice that we have, again, like, I'm going back to The Mandalorian just very briefly, but like, we had that scene with Luke at the end of the second season of Mandalorian, and we have other ways now to fill this in. We can still see Luke, and I don't know how you feel about like Sebastian Stan portraying him or bringing Mark Hamill back, but I actually in certain ways I was disappointed. I won't lie. While watching The Last Jedi, there were moments I was disappointed. Like, Luke, come on, wake up, man. We need you. But when I look back on it, like, I kind of almost like the way that it was done. I don't know.
Yeah, it's my and his red Solo cup, I love it. You're such a New Yorker. No, I'm going to say I actually like Force Awakens better.
Okay.
I thought it was an interesting beginning, that kind of thing. Last Jedi, I had some problems with it, yes, but I thought it was well done. I thought there was the problem. One of the main problems for me. There's so many things you said so many things I want to answer. Okay, actually, I'll answer the other thing first before you get that. So, seeing Luke in The Mandalorian, first you see the cape, you see through the monitors, or watch through the monitors. Like, who's that? Who's that? It's funny because I kept saying, what if it's a CGI Mark Hamill? I kept saying to myself, like, what if it is him? I heard about Sebastian Stan, I heard something. I would have had a problem with that also. But you know what? The fact that it was him CGI, looked younger, for us originals, I think we all had tears in our eyes. I mean,
I did.
I don't know, we all do. But I'm saying, well, I guess you could, because you did watch the original. So I mean, you saw him first. So for us, it was kind of like, oh, I mean, it was like a love letter to the fan. It was like, okay. But I know for many people who say it should have been the other way, because that leads to more story. Because at this point, Luke's old, so whatever story you're going to tell, time period has to be a younger Luke. So Sebastian Stan can step in and do that. So I understand all that. But I'm sorry, I loved it. I'm a geek. I loved it. I just thought it was great. I don't care. Yeah. So I answered that question. I agree with you on that. Okay, so then back to the other. So it was funny. So we have the way they decided to do it, which I thought was smart at first, was part of trilogy, one-off movie, spin-off movie. Part of trilogy, spin-off movie. I liked Rogue One better than the trilogy. Actually, I thought Rogue One was a better movie than the whole trilogy, and I love at the end. That's why because this Darth Vader is your father.
Oh,
I have a whole shelf of Darth stuff over here. You can't even see it's scary. He comes out and he's the Darth we should know. He's mean, evil Darth. He starts killing everybody off. Like that's the whole point. That's what he does. But we didn't know he was going to be in Rogue One at the end. But that's what I mean. That's like this. But I was like, that's what he does. So I mean, I felt like that was a well done, and it was also, like you said, a fill in the gap movie. Fill in the gap after what happened here, before I went to here. So like you got, so it's like it was so good that I was like that. So back to The Last Jedi. I think one of the problems that the older fans missed was there wasn't a scene with Luke, Leia, and Han. I think everybody wanted that on some level.
They
wanted on some level.
That's a good point.
And it just never, in the sequels, it just never happened. Like there was just never. We got Han and Leia together, and they had that wonderful moment, but it just wasn't. There was another moment that I thought was beautiful when they actually killed Leia, when she died, and her daughter Billie Lourd in real life, who played, they did the whole kind of trickster stuff, kind of whatever. That was beautiful. That was very well done. I guess having Palpatine kind of come back, but not really. I mean, like it was like a little weird for me. I was like, really? So that's who's puppeting? I mean, okay. And the folks, I kind of feel the same way a little bit. I'm not married to it, John. Don't kill me. I'm married to it. But I do wish Rey was actually part of the family. That she was actually a star. I don't think they did it as she's part of the family. Yes. And yes, I wanted Poe and Finn romance. I wanted same-sex romance. Those stories. That's the thing. Those are all the things that the fans talked about that I kind of agree with also on some level. Like, okay. But I don't think Last Jedi is as horrible as people try to portray. I don't think it's horrible. I mean, there's worse movies than that. Like the second one. But I was like, I felt like you tell me you feel the same way. The third one was also making up for the second one. Like it was also trying to like, okay, the second one was universally kind of panned. It wasn't the greatest story. So let's make let's put all the stuff in here, make it better. I don't know. I feel like there's a little bit of that too.
I think so too. I think you're right. It's funny, that comment that you made about Luke, Han, and Leia never actually being together, like in the same room. I don't think I ever really thought about that because I feel like I was just seeing them like on the screen. I was like, oh, it's so good to see them, but they weren't actually together. That's very interesting.
They're in the same scene together. Like it's not, or not even like they were like Luke talked to Leia on the phone and Han is right. Never the three original. Man, for me, like to me, I would a fan thing. It's like something for the fan. I guess there's sort of the story, but as a fan, why the F not? I mean, now Carrie's gone. No one could predict that Carrie Fisher was going to die. I mean, no one knew that, of course. But it's just like, he missed opportunity.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. I never even thought about that. Wow.
See? I mean, that's how you learn. The thing is, everyone can see this film and have 10 different reactions, right? And that's the beauty about these films. And they're put out there and we see it with whatever lens we see it through. But it's funny because even someone, brought up, that Homegirl was a lesbian and everybody showed her as a lesbian. She had some kissing and hugging a girl at the end after they defeated everybody. I'm like, it wasn't part of the story. It was just like they just decided to make it normal. Like, it's just part of the story. Who cares?
Yeah.
But I understand on the other side that too, like we should have had a story about that maybe. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm just like, it didn't bother me at all. But it's like I'm going, oh, she's lesbian. Okay, they're doing something. I didn't realize that. But it's like, but the movie itself, I don't think it's as bad as everybody says it is. I just don't think at all. Now with Boba Fett, because we have to tie it into the movies, everyone to know. It says I was talking about this on my first episode. I go, this character had like 4 lines and 6 minutes of screen time, but he became very popular. We all wanted more of him.
Yeah.
And I know there's no small parts, people. No small parts. Clearly. And now he has his own series. So it's clearly it can work that way. So of course we're all like, spoiler alert. If you haven't watched Boba Fett this week or last week, spoiler, I should say the spoiler alerts, whatever. Too late if you haven't watched it. We want to find out how he got out of the Starlight. We want to find out how that happened. We want to find out what happened to him before he showed up on the Mandalorian. Which I reminded myself, oh, that's right. Boba Fett's actually a spinoff of the Mandalorian. I reminded myself, Yeah. But kind of also because of Return of the Jedi, it's kind of a spin-off of both. It's like it's 5 years after. I think it's like 5 years after Return of the Jedi. I think it's fairly set. I think I know everybody's kind of go back and forth with that, going, "Well, it's close. So it's around there." I mean, I think you can agree with that. It's around.
Yeah.
So it's funny. We find out.
Yeah.
Have you liked the storytelling of past, present? Like, just showing us how he made the journey, and also showing us where he's at right now. Have you enjoyed that?
Mm-hmm. I think they're doing such a great job with flashbacks. I was hoping that we'd be getting a lot of flashbacks, and it's really been, from what we've seen of it so far, I feel like it's been pretty seamless. Like it's just like, when you're in a flashback, when you're back in the present, everything makes sense, and I just feel like the story's being told, very well. I've seen a couple of articles that were posted, where people were commenting that they felt like the first episode, nothing really happened. It was boring, yada, yada, yada. And I felt like the first episode was perfect. Yeah. I feel like, Boba Fett, he's this fan favorite who's still so mysterious, and we don't know anything about him. Like, that first episode just felt like, okay, let's get to know Boba, even seeing in the Mandalorian, he gets more lines. We see more of him, but still don't know really much about him, and there's so much story I feel like to tell about him, and I feel like there's so many ways it can go, and it's so exciting.
I agree. I agree with you completely, John.
Yeah.
Now, what was I say? There's so many things you said I just love. There's so many things you're saying I love. It's time to get old, folks. Things just but hey, so we got Boba Fett going right now. We have Mandalorian season 3 coming at some point. They're working on that. Do you think will Mando show up somewhere in the universe? Is he done? He's such a popular character. It was so ballsy of them to get rid of him.
Yeah, I really do think we're going to see him again. I do. Yeah. We have to. There's no way that he's not going to be back.
Yeah, we have to. Right? We have to.
Yeah.
So I mentioned about the Poe and Finn thing that's out there with the fans, about them should have been hooked up or whatever. What are your feelings about that, actually? What are your feelings about that?
I actually like that. I think that type of relationship should be, it's disappointing that we haven't gotten it yet. Like, in these 3 movies that came out all within the last, 6 years, less than 10 years, like, we need to do better, representing everybody in these movies. And Star Wars is a franchise that I love so much that, that I want them to be bringing everything like that. I want them to be representing everybody. Everyone should be represented in Star Wars. Star Wars is for everyone. So,
I agree. I mean, I'm part of the outfit mafia, so yes, of course I want to see it. But I'm just like, I think the future will be all races, all genders, all. I mean, it's like it shouldn't actually. It should be just like, it shouldn't even matter. I mean, it's like hopefully we'll. The hope is that we will evolve so further ahead that all that melds together, and it's whatever it is. I mean, not in present tense now, but in the future, yes. hopefully that will come through on there. Do you have a favorite character?
Oof. Oh, that's hard. That's so hard. Favorite character. I don't know if I can give an answer to this.
give me 2 of your top characters. Just top. They don't have to be number 1 or 2. Just like 2 top characters you just have enjoyed in the universe.
Okay, I can do 2. I mean, Luke's got to be one, because Luke's the one that you just. I know. I feel like that's the easy one to take. But like, when you're a 12-year-old kid watching Star Wars for the first time, and you see Luke Skywalker waving a lightsaber around, saving the galaxy, how can you not love the guy, right? So he's got to be one of them. And then, like, it's tough because it's hard to pick 2 when, like, you have Han, Luke, and Leia as the 3. And then I even think of somebody like, Chewie, who, like, he doesn't, you can't really understand anything he's saying, but he's constant throughout the franchise. He's always there. He's always backing up his friends, our heroes, and so, like, there's part of me that even wants to pick, as, like, if I'm going to pick 2 people, it would be like somebody like Chewie, who's just always around, always there. One of my favorite moments of the sequel trilogy was when Chewie got Han's medal, after Han was killed. And I was like, I was like, oh my God. an emotional moment. Like, this guy's been around a long time. He's seen a lot of stuff. He's still here, and a lot of his friends are gone. Like, Chewie is the embodiment of Star Wars, you know.
Well, we saw another Wookiee in Boba Fett from another series. They didn't say it was him, but we're all assuming it is. That's what I love the series. It's so interesting that they can do stuff like this. Like, you know, like they can throw someone here and throw something there and throw something over here and throw it over here. And you know, I have a friend. I want to make sure I always give a shout out. He's on TikTok. He goes by Maddie the Archivist, and he takes every video. He takes requests. He'll take every single Star Wars non-famous character, non-famous species, non-famous spaceship or weapon, and he breaks it down for you in 3 minutes. Wow. It is the bomb. Maddie the Archivist, check him out on TikTok. He's so good. Like, he'll be like, yeah, now one rifle in Bad Batch. It's from there. And he'll just like tell you, he'll break it down for you.
Oh, that's incredible.
And what, you know, natural F, what is going on here? You know, it's just crazy. Texas Ranger fan says Darth Vader is the ultimate villain. He even has his own theme song, the Imperial March. Yes, we love. Well, clearly that's my favorite character. But number 2, if I had to pick some others, you know, Mando has actually become one of my favorite characters. He's really come up for me. Watched the 2 seasons of Mandalorian of the newer set. Like you said, of course, we love all the older folks and everything. I know what my least favorite characters are. That's no story, but I do like. I'm trying to stay positive. No, but I do like. I think Mando's a great. He showed emotion. Those couple times he took off his helmet. I mean, like, it was crazy. Like, oh my god. They're all emotional moments, and there's some great stuff. There's some great stuff, and then of course the child, Mr. Grogu, like my favorites. But so is Yoda. It was my favorite.
Right.
Kind of like, you know, Obi-Wan Kenobi, which is another one that's very high anticipated, and you heard who's coming back for it. Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen. How do you feel about that? Oh my god!
Oh, I'm so pumped. And like, you know, Hayden Christensen, I'm happy to see him coming back and getting to get back into the role and everything. I feel like, you know, some of his acting in the prequels has come, you know, has been criticized at times. But I like him, and I'm excited to see him like step into the role again. And I just have like an appreciation for people who are in the Star Wars, you know, universe. And it's nice to see them get their, you know, get praise and get their due and get to step back into their roles. And it's just nice.
The Star Warsian, you'll learn that word soon.
Yes.
Star Warsian. No, yeah, it's very much like right now we have Jennifer Beals and Boba Fett. I'm like, Jennifer Beals, that's Flashdance and other things. I'm like, so let's see what she does, because right now her character hasn't done any much yet. So I'm very curious. Grogu's your favorite, Kristen? Like, good girl. I know that's your favorite. But yeah, there's characters I want to see what they do, and you know, with Star Wars, what's great is a character that's seemingly minor can literally get its own series, but beyond that, can also become a major character. So they can come out of that, and it can lead you somewhere. You know, and it's funny. People are brought into series like Bill Burr, of all people, this comedian.
Yes.
Does this amazing job on The Mandalorian, especially when he came back.
Right.
That scene, okay, folks, look into the weeds right now. That scene where he's sitting across with his old commander, and the just talking like, yeah, we kill those people. That's what happened. But just like so nonchalant about it. And he's getting and he's changed the last time we saw him. Mm-hmm. And he's like really getting pissed. Because that whole scene was like, you can act. Okay. I mean, a comedian, a big time comedian, but he was really good addition to the show.
Yeah. No, he was incredible. I loved him. And I love to, because if you go on to like that appearance he had on that late night show, like almost kind of like talking trash about Star Wars. now he's a part of it and he's killing it. You know, like, so awesome.
Now, I'll ask you a question this because I have big fans for Solo, the movie. Mm-hmm. It was universally panned also, but I have plans for it. I liked, of course, Donald Glover playing Solo. I'm a huge Lando fan. Mm-hmm. So I thought he was really good as him. I had no problem with the guy playing Han Solo, the young one. But what were your feelings about that movie?
I really enjoyed Solo because I thought it just gave such a different perspective of the universe. Like, we know through like Jabba and some of these other characters, we know that there's this like crime underworld, in Star Wars. But we really got to like really deep dive into that sort of like world, that part of the Star Wars universe, in Solo. And I just thought it was another really cool way, but you're still seeing, the elements of what we really know, Star Wars to be, and what it really, has always been before the Solo movie that we saw. I just thought they did a great job of showing us a whole other side of Star Wars.
Yeah, good. Texas Rangers fan. I always forget, is that hockey or is that baseball? I can't remember it.
Texas Rangers, that's the baseball, yeah.
Baseball. You would know because you're an Islanders, a hockey person, so you would. I did watch Penguin game once in Pittsburgh. I was late to Pittsburgh. I watched the Penguin game once. I heard Harrison Ford is going. I don't have my glasses with me, so I'm like trying to read. I heard Harrison Ford is going to play Han Solo again. Okay, he's like 200 years old. Sure, okay. I don't know what. Wait, do you know what? Do you hear what it is? What he's playing him? Which is fine. He's still alive. He's still around. They're all out there. All these characters are out there.
Yeah.
Ones people don't like. They're all out there. This universe is just so vast and wide. And now with the High Republic books out, they want to do series off of those apparently too. And so I think we got another Marvel DC universe in our hands. It's gonna be just crazy between the books and the movies. And why do you think there's not any? Well, I guess Disney Plus owns it now. So there's not any on network TV. Like DC's on CW or whatever. There's none of those running around on network TV.
Yeah.
It's Star Wars. It's all either Disney Plus, Netflix, kids.
Right.
That's
yeah.
It. Yeah, I think so.
I think everything's on Disney Plus pretty much.
Yeah.
I think it's I think you're right.
So I want to thank you for being on the show. So we just talk about different Star Wars stuff. It's not a long show, but we've been on here for a while actually. That's kind of funny. We're on 45 minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you. So I invited him on the Boba Fett show. So that I wanted to have him talk first about kind of like what he liked about Star Wars. You get an idea who he is. So when he comes on, we can just just go into it and talk about Boba Fett. So you'll see him again, but tell people where they can find you and your podcast and all that stuff.
So you can find me on Instagram at @jdunn89. You can find our other podcast, Big Brother. We talk about Big Brother. We talk about Survivor. We talk about The Challenge. That's at BB Jury Duty on Instagram and on Twitter as well. And that's a lot of fun too. So
are you talking about Celebrity Big Brother?
We will be talking about Celebrity Big Brother. So yes, thank you for bringing that up.
Because I know some folks don't. I have friends who only watch Celebrity Big Brother, not the regulars, and some folks don't watch the Celebrity because they're like, not the real one.
Right.
I love it.
Oh, it's great, and it's exciting because it's starting less than a month. Beginning of February it starts, and we'll probably be getting the cast list in the next week or two.
Yeah.
So.
And it's also played at a hyper speed, which I kind of like too. So it's not the same as it's not 3 months of these people. Usually it's a month. Usually I think it's like a month they play or whatever. So I'm so excited. I might as well check it. So good. I have to tune into that. So tune into him. Follow him. Okay. And me. Oh, fine. Me. I'm where all James Lott Jr. are sold at James Lott Jr. Also via platforms. Yes, and you're on TikTok. And I do Star Wars TikToks, on there. Again, Book of Boba Fett after show is Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's when we do it. Me and my co-hosts are Frank Moran. Sometimes Ryan Nielsen, we switch out, and soon to be he'll be on there too. And then of course check out our Mandalorian after show, which is on all streaming service platforms. You can watch that. Me and Ryan Nielsen talk about that. And then I do little Star Wars things here and there, little things here and there. So just keep that in mind. I'm a big, huge Star Wars fan. This is your network for Star Wars content. And anything new that comes out, I'm probably going to cover it also, as we do. But thank you to everyone, all the countries who listen to us. I get the charts, and you guys, I think we're big in like Mexico and Bulgaria or whatever. I'll take it. Wherever you go, Turkey, Australia, whatever. All the Facebook groups, let me share this in their Facebook groups. Thank you so much for letting me do that. The Star Wars ones, the Darth